Okay, so now we're going to make sure we send everything that we prepared that's on this list over to our friends at the U.S. Consulate General, Montreal. So let's just read this one last time. This office is processing the below referenced fiancé visa case. In order to continue processing this case, please complete and return to this office at the above address. Attention, Immigrant Visa Unit. So there's our address. There, cancel. Here's the address we're sending to. Okay. We're going to send a copy of the DS-230 Part 1. We're sending a copy of the DS-160. Now, the thing is, we filed this DS-160 already online. So the DS-156K, the DS-156, our confirmation receipt, actually, and the checklist enclosed indicating you've obtained the required documents. Upon receipt of the above listed documents, this office will schedule a visa interview for a date approximately 4 to 6 months after receipt of the required documents. When your case has been scheduled for an interview, this office will send information regarding the interview appointment. In all correspondence, please include your name and case number, which is noted at the end of this letter. Thank you for your cooperation. We look forward to receiving your response. Okay. Sincerely, Immigrant Visa Unit. Okay, and then here is again the checklist. And of course, there's a description of everything that you're going to be sending to them, right? All of the documents. We've been through this. Photographs, got that. Here's the medical exam. Okay. So, what they want to make sure is we've done all this before we send in everything. And what we're saying is, yes, we have done all this. So, we know we've done all this. Great. So, we are going to look at this, because once we've done it, we're going to check that we've obtained it. So, passport, check. Photographs, check. Birth certificate, check. Police certificates, check. Medical exam, check. Intent to marry letter, check. Evidence of domicile, check. Affidavit of support, check. Evidence of support, check. Adoption certificate, divorce or testimony. Criminal, no. Military, no. Minor children, custody consent, no need. Here's the date. She signed it. There's our case number. Great. So now we are going to mail this stuff over to them, right? Here's our letterhead that we use. And U.S. Consulate General, Immigrant Visa Unit. This is the address they told us to send it to. K-1 Fiancé Visa Application, Timothy Parker, petitioning U.S. citizen fiancé, Ann King, the beneficiary. Here's our case number right there. Dear Department of State Professional, please find and enclose the following documents for your review. DS-230 Part 1, DS-160, DS-156, DS-156 in duplicate, confirmation receipt for Form DS-160, checklist of required documents signed by the beneficiary. Please schedule the fiancé visa appointment at your earliest convenience. All right. So, respectfully, Mark Daly. Okay. And here's our certified mail notice. We're sending it up there. Okay. Now, what happens then after we send all that stuff is that we will get back a letter. This is called the Packet 4 letter. The Immigrant Visa Unit is processing the below referenced case and has scheduled a visa interview appointment for the applicants listed below. All such interviews occur at the U.S. Consulate General in Montreal, where your application and documents will be examined and you will be interviewed by a consular officer. Please plan to spend the entire day at the consulate. If you're not ready to immigrate within the next 6 months, please contact the Immigrant Visa Unit to reschedule your appointment. Please send an email to montrealivdvstate.gov with the subject line Reschedule IV Appointment. If you fail to pursue the visa application within 1 year of the date of this appointment letter, the petition and application in this case will be canceled. U.S. Consulate General is located in downtown Montreal. There's the address of it. Each family member planning to immigrate must appear at the appointment date. Subject to exceptions noted in the personal appearance instructions. To request a waiver of the personal appearance of a child under the age of 14, please contact the Immigrant Visa Unit by email at montrealivdv@state.gov. So what this is saying is that, look, if you have any problems, you're going to have to contact them through email. That's what they're requesting that you do. So if you don't have email, though, you can also use this address and, the tracking number. They don't like that as much. But if you do have a problem, you don't want to miss your appointment without giving them a heads up that you're going to miss the appointment. They will reschedule it once with really no problem. More than once, then you're going to have to really start getting a problem up and proving that there's a reason why they're not going to just deny your application for not showing up, because they will do that for sure. If you've not paid all the fees due at the National Visa Center, please be prepared to pay the remaining fees. Please note, if a person is found ineligible to receive a visa, the application fee cannot be refunded. For an immigrant petition filed in Canada, let's bring this up a little bit. That's a little bit too much there. Let's see. Okay, I think this was maybe a bad idea to try to make it bigger. There we go. For an immigrant petition filed in Canada, the fee of $400 US for each applicant must be paid in cash or by credit card on the day of your interview. For K visa applicants, a machine-readable visa, MRV fee of $131 US or the Canadian dollar equivalent must be paid in cash on the day of your interview. Cash. So you're bringing cash. Now this one here can be paid in cash or credit card. A $400 immigrant petition filed in Canada. Now, the immigrant petition, we're not talking about an immigrant petition. We're actually talking about fiancé visa. So it's going to be K applicants, $131 in cash on the day. Each intending immigrant, regardless of age, is required to have a medical exam. Okay, to schedule a medical examination, please see the enclosed instructions or visit there. Now, we've already done that, right? Yes. Please bring to your interview the original and one copy of the following documents applicable for each applicant. The appointment letter showing the date and time of your interview. Passport valid for at least 6 months beyond the date you plan to enter the United States. Birth certificate, adoption decree, marriage certificate, death and divorce certificate, police certificates, court, military, evidence of domicile, job offer letter, affidavit of support, evidence of support, medical exam, intent to marry letter, 2 photographs, Canada Post Express Post mailer, size 314 millimeter by 39 millimeter, 12 by 15. This is what they use to mail back your visa, which is inside of your passport. So you bring your passport, you put the visa in it, and they mail it back to you in that mailer. Please note, all visitors to the U.S. Consulate General in Montreal are screened by U.S. Consulate security prior to entry. Screening includes inspections via walk-through metal detector, handheld metal detector, and x-ray machine for personal items. So you're getting some sense now of the urgency, the excitement. Oh my goodness, I'm really going to the embassy now. The following items are prohibited inside the consulate: food, beverage, weapons, tools, briefcases, backpacks, luggage, or large purses. Right? Electronic or recording equipment of any kind, including but not limited to laptop computers, no cell phones, no PDAs, no audio and video players and pagers, oversized strollers, nail files, and nail polish. Following persons may accompany a visa applicant during his or her visit to the consulate: interpreter, right? Special needs visitors. If you're elderly, disabled, or your applicant is a minor child applying for a visa, one person may accompany you. Attorney. Attorneys are not permitted to accompany applicants inside the consulate. Aw. Boy, those were the days when we could accompany them. U.S. citizens. A U.S. citizen may accompany you. So your fiancé may come in and do that, go in there with you. If your visa application is approved, which it will be, yay, we will put your visa in your passport and send the completed visa packet and passport back to you in the express post mailer you provide. An immigrant visa is usually valid for 6 months from the date of the issuance. You must travel to the United States and apply for admission as a permanent resident within the visa's validity period. Okay, so not quite true, but a good rule of thumb for sure. If you currently reside in the U.S. on a non-immigrant visa, you may be able to pick up your passport with visa and the visa packet in the afternoon of the next business day after your interview. Okay, well that's nice. Unless you need your passport for travel, you may return to your address in Canada on the day of your interview. Okay. Do not make any travel arrangements to move through. So just knowing this, our scenario right now, you may return to your address in Canada, go home, right, and you can plan on going back home on the day of your interview, right? And we'll send it to you in the express post. That's all they're saying. Do not make any travel arrangements to move to the United States, dispose of property, or give up your job until a visa has been issued to you. So a lot of people say, well, it costs so much the plane tickets. If I buy them in advance, I get a better deal. Sorry, it's really not going to work out for you to do that. Do not make any travel arrangements. True. A consular officer can make a decision regarding your visa application only after your formal application and all documents have been received and you've been personally interviewed by a consular officer. Thank you for your cooperation. We look forward to seeing you at your appointment. Sincerely, U.S. Immigrant Visa Unit, U.S. Consulate General, Montreal. And then here is the appointment schedule. Visa appointment date, July 15, 2012. Time, 8 a.m. Case number, and King, preference category, and this is our appointment letter. This is what we call the P4 letter. So it's another checklist. It's a list of things you can and cannot do here at the embassy. Now, this is the one that's always going to be controlling, meaning that this is the one that we're going to follow. But I also want to indicate to you that there is a Packet 4 instruction material document that is from the website of the Montreal Embassy. And it says basically the same thing, right? Except it's got a couple extra things in here. Schedule your visa interview appointment. They have a scheduling thing here. So, but this again, the letter that we got from the consulate is the one that's got the appointment information on it. So we don't need to use a visa interview appointment scheduling system here. Rescheduling your interview date, okay. Now here it says if you have to reschedule one, if you're unable to attend the appointment has been given to you, please go to, and there's a scheduler here to select a new appointment date. Passport number, date of birth, nationality, MTL, visa category for each applicant. So, here's the thing is that the other letter said that you need to email to the embassy, right? An email requesting a new date. So that's actually what you want to do. You want to follow the instructions on the letter. So this is separate. It's a separate letter, and I guess you could also see about doing it this way, but to keep it simple, I would go with the email. And register for courier services, okay. So this is, again, IV applicant who need to register for Loomis services. A little bit different. I don't think this is relevant anymore. Get your medical exam done in Canada. Okay, there's your medical exam. Make photocopies of all documents. Submit to support your application. We know that. Obtain the original police certificate clearance. Got that one. Original I-864 affidavit of support. Okay, we're not using I-864. We're using I-134. Location of the U.S. Consulate General in Montreal. Here's the thing. Security screening procedures. Okay. This is what was in the letter too. Accompanying persons. That was in the letter. Immigrant visa fees. Here's your Fiancée visa application. $240 U.S. paid in cash only. So here we go. Again, if there's a discrepancy between the website and the letter that you receive, you go with your letter, right? Okay. Do not make travel plans outside of Canada. That's the same thing. Consular officer adjudicates your case. Pick up your passport and IV packet at the courier location. So this is a little bit different in here. Please allow 3 days for processing the consulate and 5 days for the courier delivery to the location you selected. So a little bit different here. We will be bringing in a prepaid envelope actually for getting the Fiancée visa sent to us. Do not open IV packet. Check your visa. Obviously, that's the same thing as with the Fiancée, and you're not going to open your medical exam either. Remember that. And immigrant visa interview checklist. So it's a little bit different because this is an immigrant visa, right? But a lot of this stuff is the same. And then here's another checklist here with everything. And K-1 visa interview checklist. Here's the K-1. Ticket with your number will be given at the consulate. Valid passport and photocopy of biographic page. Now, so listen, if not Canadian citizen, also original and photocopy of the Canada LPR card, right? So, but we're talking about a Canadian citizen in this case. The medical exam and the sealed envelope, right? 2-color passport size pictures, got those. Form DS-230. Remember, he had 3 to go to the medical exam, 2 here. I think it was a total of 5 that they were talking about. DS-230 Part 1 or confirmation page of the electronic DS-260. 2 copies of Form DS-156, DS-156K, confirmation of the online Form DS-160, statement of intent to marry the U.S. petitioner, birth certificate, marriage certificate, divorce, custody documents, police cert, court criminal records, military records, proof of financial support. Here's our I-134, okay? Copy of U.S. petitioner status in the USA, copies of documents proving petitioner's U.S. domicile. Now, U.S. domicile is something I want to look at just briefly here, because it's coming up on this, and I want to go over this. It's a legal issue, domicile. Domicile is a complex concept and must be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. To qualify as a sponsor, a petitioner residing abroad must have a principal residence in the U.S. and intend to maintain it indefinitely. Lawful permanent resident LPR sponsors must show they are maintaining their LPR status. Okay. Many U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents reside outside the United States on a temporary basis. Temporary may cover an extended period of residence abroad. The sponsor living abroad must establish the following in order to be considered domiciled in the United States. He/she left the United States for a limited and not indefinite period of time. He/she intended to maintain a domicile in the United States, and he/she has evidence of continued ties to the United States. So, this scenario, obviously, is that if Timothy, our petitioner, was living in Canada, all right, he could show the domicile was still in the United States by stating, I was just here temporarily, and I'm intending to go back. Look, here's my lease with my name on it. Here's my job assignment up here, my letter of employment, that it's just for, a short period of time, and I'll be moving back down there. Whatever the circumstances are, right, then you can prove your domicile is in the United States. Can a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident petitioner who is not domiciled living in the United States be a sponsor? No. The law requires that the sponsors be domiciled in the United States. If the petitioner does not have a domicile in the United States, can a joint sponsor file an I-864? Here it is, no. The petitioner must meet all the requirements to become a sponsor, except those related to income, before they can be a joint sponsor. So, of course, with the fiancé, we're not filing the I-864. But it's just another issue that they're talking about with regards to domicile. What kinds of employment abroad can be counted as U.S. domicile? So there are some circumstances where you're actually working abroad where they consider you to be actually living in the United States for all practical purposes. So stationed abroad with the U.S. government, temporarily stationed with the American Institution of Research, employment temporarily stationed abroad with an American firm or corporation or its subsidiary engaged in whole or in part in the development of foreign trade and commerce with the U.S. Okay. Employment temporarily stationed abroad with a public international organization in which the United States participates by treaty or statute. Employment temporarily stationed abroad with a religious denomination group having a genuine organization within the United States. Employment temporarily stationed abroad as a missionary by a religious denomination group of an interdenominational mission organization within the United States. So these, if you have one of these, you are domiciled in the United States. You could file an I-864 actually. There may be other circumstances which a sponsor can show that his or her presence abroad is of a temporary nature and the sponsor has a domicile in the United States. Sponsor must satisfy the consular officer that he or she has not given up his or her domicile in the United States and establish his or her domicile abroad. So obviously in our case, we have Timothy living in the United States, separated from his fiancée, wanting to bring her into the United States. There's no question about domicile. It really rises when you are actually living in Canada or far abroad, And then it says, how can a petitioner establish domicile? So when a sponsor has clearly not maintained a domicile in the United States, he/she must establish a U.S. domicile to be a sponsor. The aspiring sponsor may take steps, including the examples given below, to show that the United States is his or her principal place of residence. So if I'm living abroad, I got to move first to the United States. I have to find employment, secure a residence, register my kids in schools, relinquish my residence abroad, other evidence of a U.S. residence. If the sponsor establishes U.S. domicile, it is not necessary for the sponsor to go to the United States before the sponsored family members. Great. However, the sponsor must return to the United States to live before the sponsored immigrant may enter the United States. The sponsored immigrant must enter the U.S. with or after the sponsor. So that's what they're talking about domicile. So I just wanted to cover it because it seems like, it's coming up here. They want a copy of the proving petitioner's U.S. domicile. Again, all of our stuff says he's living there. The tax returns are basically what we're using as an anchor for those domicile issues. And the medical exam and special stuff, vaccination, and panel physicians in Canada. So here's the end of the stuff that's actually on the website for Packet 4. So then at this point, okay, we've got it. We are ready to get over and go to that interview on that day. So the next video then is going to cover what our binder looks like and what we can expect after the interview and how we're actually going to come across into the United States. Okay, so this is our last segment on our fiancé visa. You've done it. You've made it all this way. You have reviewed all the checklists. You've gotten your documents together. You've filled in all the forms. You've communicated back and forth with USCIS, National Visa Center, Embassy, right? And now we're coming down to the interview, all right? And now it's crunch time. Now this is the point where we give our final push, okay? Because this is what matters. Really, it matters the most. Yeah, it's important to not lie on the applications. But going into that embassy, you're going to have 10 minutes, 12 minutes, maybe 9 minutes. They're going to be in a window, and you're going to be handing stuff underneath this little slot in the window, right? This is where you need to make a good impression, because if you go in there and show them respect, they're likely to show you respect back. That's the rule of reciprocity. What goes around comes around, all right? Dress in a professional way, absolutely professional way. And, listen to them, answer their questions as they ask them. You don't need to go on and on and on and on if they ask you an open-ended question. So tell me about when you first met your fiancé, all right? Then you can go on and on a little bit about the circumstances under which you met, right? How many trips have you taken into the United States? That's kind of an open-ended one. But when they ask you a closed-ended question that just requires a yes or no answer, just give a yes or no. Are you the fiancé? Yes. Are you Ann King? Yes. Are you planning on getting married to Timothy? Yeah, and we're so excited about it, getting married. We're going to go 90 days. We're going to go to Opryland. We're going to go to Disneyland. We're going to go to Dollywood. We're going to go all over the place. Don't do that, okay? Yes, I plan on getting married in 90 days. Yes. Stop. That's a sign of respect. It's one thing to build rapport, and it's great to build rapport, but in an interview like this, it's better to not try to build too much rapport. The rapport you're going to build is based on the binder that you're going to bring in, and you're going to be organized, and you're going to look good, and you're going to show up on time, and you're going to have everything they want. That's going to build the best rapport for these guys. Now I want to show you a video from some clients of mine who did a very intense interview in Ciudad Juarez, a marriage-based case, and this is what he had to say about our services. Check this out.
All right, so I'm here with Heather and Jose. And Jose just got back from Ciudad Juarez. He did his visa processing, got a 601 waiver. And a lot of people down there were having a hard time, huh?
Yep, that's true. Over a year and a half.
People were waiting. Yeah. How long did it take you?
2 months, less than 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, less than 2 months. Once you get everything prepared, like you had done it, just 2 months.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. Yeah, no pieces of the 601 like this guy's been doing it. I had everything on my back, and I was so thankful for it because that was the main reason I'm back on your task. Yeah. But I'm excited over it. So it's a first experience, but man, I wouldn't mind doing that again. Not this easy.
Yeah. It was a terrible experience.
It was a terrible experience, yeah. It's not so much for the process, but just standing in Mexico, and you get a little bit stressed about what's going to happen. But man, once you get everything right, man, you're stressful for nothing. Yeah. You're stressful for nothing. And there's not many lawyers, I have to say, there's not many lawyers that actually will do the job like you have done. Like you have done it, because I was looking at my 601 and comparing to other people's 601. there was no way they could touch mine. No way. It was just about 3 or 4 times thicker than what they were bringing out there. They were bringing out about 2 or 4 papers, and that's why I said to myself, man, this is why people get stuck out here, because they don't bring the right things to the right time. But man, it was a great experience, and I was so happy because everything, all my paperwork was just great.
Mm-hmm.
It was just great. My first appointment, I don't even have to bring anything but my passport. They already had everything. I remember when they pull up the papers, it was about this big, and I'm like, they got all these papers.
Yeah.
How did they get up here? But I was just thinking that the good work they had done is what they brought them up there. My first appointment, they
3 or 4 times thicker, right? He was staying in a place and they were comparing their waivers, right? And his was thick. We included all this stuff. Some people only had a couple papers waiting around for a year to get back in. So this is an indicator then of what's really happening with the embassy. And he's like, I felt great. You know, we prepared him going in. He did feel great. He knew he was going to go in there and do well. He was prepared for it, and he got it, you know. And I think that's a great testimonial. That's what this is the feedback that we get. This is why I'm giving you this kind of a training in preparing the stuff this way, because I really believe that this is the way it works. This is what they want to see. And you'll feel good. You'll feel good if you go the extra mile and put this thing together in a way that's really good. So, that being said, you recognize this. This is our packet 4 letter, right? And this is our bring to the interview 1 copy and original of the following documents for each applicant, right? So this is this list. Now, there's another list that I showed you earlier, and that was the list from the actual embassy here. And let's see, where is that list? Right here. This was the packet 4 instruction material checklist that was actually on the embassy website, okay? And I like this checklist actually better because it also includes, right? It includes, here we go, K-1 Fiancée visa interview checklist, all right? It actually includes all the applications, see? This one says Form DS-230, 156, 156K, 160, right? And it also says, to prevent unnecessary delays during your interview, please arrange your documents in the following order. All right, so it even gives us an order by which they want the documents arranged. Okay, so I like this a lot. So what we've done then is we have taken that and we have made ourselves a binder checklist. Now this is our binder here, right? This is a binder, and it's just an empty binder, right? But what's important about this binder is it has this little fold in the front. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our list of documents and this page, and we're going to put it right in the front of this binder, right? So that everyone knows what's going on, right? So it looks like this, right? And you know, the beautiful thing about the binder are these clips here. I mean, when you put a document in here, this thing it's locked in. And I'm telling you, man, you get nervous going into the embassy. It is so nerve-wracking, you know. And you have a binder like this, you drop it, the papers aren't going to go flying everywhere, right? They're locked in. So this is what's important. Sometimes you get shaky going in there, right? And the guards want to see what the heck's going on. You hand them this, they can easily identify it's a binder, it's all the papers, you know. This is a good way to go. This is a really good way to go. So then on here, then we're putting this up. Property of Ann King, K-1 Fiancée visa interview, support documents, U.S. Embassy Montreal. The case numbers on here, the appointment date, here's the appointment date, appointment time, there's the appointment time, courier server reference ID number. They got this. Because remember, they do want the courier service envelope. They want you to bring them a prepaid courier service envelope. So that makes sense, right? Okay, great. So I'm going to blow this up a little bit and we can actually read this together. Okay, so here's the checklist of documents. I got them right here. Ticket with your number, okay? U.S. Embassy Montreal ticket and number. Apparently they're going to give you some sort of ticket, right? So they're going to give us a ticket. Great. We're putting this in first. Put on the left-hand side. Next, appointment letter from packet 4. Okay, here's our packet 4 appointment letter. It has our time, it has our date, everything on it. That's great. Next thing, valid passport and photocopy of the biographic page. So I put the photocopy of the biographic page on the front. I put the passport behind there. It's good to go. Next, medical examination in a sealed envelope. X-ray is not required unless you got a TB scan on there. So here's the medical exam. Do not open. And a lot of times they'll give you a copy of the medical exam. I just put that right behind here. So this thing is all together. Okay, the next thing is, oops, I just dropped that. Okay, this is a little bit, here we go. 2 color passport sized pictures, okay? Put them in the envelope like this, so these passport photos are good to go. They go in the binder. Okay, next, Form DS-230, Part 1, right? So that's here, and this one is in its own little folder here. 2 copies of Form DS-156, completed online and printed with the barcode, okay? So the barcode is here, and that is printed. Next, we've got the cancel. Okay, I messed that up. After the passport photos, DS-230, got it. DS-156, got it. Next one, DS-156K. Here we go. Form DS-156K. Now, do not sign. This one actually has the part where you sign it in front of the embassy employee. So that one is good to go. And let's scroll down here. All right. Confirmation page of online form DS-160. Right here. Confirmation page of DS-160. Now, the DS-160, the copy, right after I signed it, you can print out a copy. And so this is the printed copy. This was actually sent in the packet 3. And so they saw this. It's been filed electronically. It's been given. But, you know, sometimes the electronic stuff gets messed up, so we just keep a hard copy here, and that's great. All right. Now, statement of intent to marry from the U.S. petitioner, fiancé beneficiary, and proof of good faith fiancé relationship from friend, signed within the last 30 days. Okay. Original and copy. Here's where we're starting to get into the original and the copies of all these documents, right? So you saw this. This is the letters. These are the letters, and so we're set there. Birth certificates of U.S. petitioner, fiancé beneficiary, and children of U.S. petitioner, original and copy, right there. Okay. Divorce certificate, original and copy, right there. Police certificates from Canada, original and copy. Load that in. Proof of financial support, Form I-134, and supporting documents. Also proof of U.S. domicile, right? We've been talking about that. 1040 tax returns, W-2 forms, 2011, 2010, 2009, 3 recent pay stubs, and employment verification letter, originals and copy. All good to go. Okay. Photos and airplane tickets proving petitioner and beneficiary have met 2 years before filing the petition. See, there's going to be a long time of delay, so at the time of the interview, it might be more than 2 years that you've actually seen them. So it's important that the date that we're talking about is 2 years before you actually filed the petition. And here's our little package of photos and our plane ticket. Great. Now, we've added extra stuff on this checklist. Again, the checklist from the embassy was a little lean, you know, and so we are actually adding some more things on here that in my experience are really great to have, like the photos and airplane tickets, right? The other thing, I-129F approval notice and receipt notice from USCIS. I like to have these on hand too, right? And then I-129F application and G325A. I put a copy of the entire application that we first filed with USCIS in here. So if there's any mistake that we make on a later application and we've made a different statement on the beginning when we can say, well, this is what I said the first time, you know. And like I say, sometimes they might get the name misspelled other than what's on the application. So this way, if there is a misspelling in the name or some weird technical error, you've got the entire application to show, well, look, I spelled it right on the first one. You guys messed up later. Here's all my proof, right? So heaven help us if the conversation actually goes that way in your interview, but if it does, you're going to have to think on your feet like a lawyer and just knock this stuff out and present your proof, make your case, and take care of business while you're in there. Copy of Packet 3 issued by the embassy. This is kind of like fluff. Really don't need that, but I like to have, again, everything, show the whole chain of command. And then here is the mailer, the Express Post prepaid mailing envelope from the embassy. All right. This is it. This is what you take to the embassy with you. It's a binder, and it's all good to go, right? Oops, I dropped it. Look, everything's, look, I dropped it. No papers flying everywhere, right? This is what you want. Okay, great. So, that is the binder. Now, you go through the interview. They will tell you at the interview, we are going to approve you for your fiancé visa. We'll take the mailer. We'll take your passport. We'll keep them here, and we will send them to you. And you'll get them in the mail. So, this is what a visa actually looks like, okay? It looks kind of like this. This is obviously not a visa because I'm not going to be counterfeiting any visas. But Ann King, if she had a visa, it would look like this. Visa type K-1, her birth date, and then we got, you know, July to January 16th, 2013. They're going to give you just right about 6 months, right? So you have 6 months to get in there, but you know that you actually have to get married 90 days within. Sometimes the annotation here will say must marry within 90 days of entry or something like that. So that is what the actual visa might look like. Put might down there. And then when you cross the border, you come into the to the airport, right? You have your passport. You show your passport with the visa. They ask you, you know, what are you coming to do in the United States? I'm coming to marry my fiancée. Here's my, you know, here's my visa. You know, you might have a packet of material along with the visa. You might even want to, hey, bring this, because remember, people, at the border, they can yay or nay, yes or no, entry or not. They can send you home, right? So, word of advice, when you're traveling in at the border, bring this guy, bring your binder with you, bring all your stuff, okay? Because it's true, they do have the power and authority at the border to re-adjudicate, to redecide, redetermine your status, okay? So, but if you got everything organized, they're going to love you, because they don't see a lot of people doing this at the border. Okay, so the next document here is going to be the actual passport stamp. So you can see here you've been admitted in Toronto. They do a pre-screening there. July 16th, October 15th, that's 3 months. The class is K-1, so this is your date of entry, and then it's good until October 15th, 2012. Again, it's good for 3 months here, so 90 days. And then there is the, again, that's the visa, and then finally is the I-94 card. And when you're on the airplane, a lot of times you might have an I-94 card like this that you fill in. And so again, when you come across, this is, I think this is Atlanta, Georgia. If you fly into a different airport, they might do it this way. And they might have your K-1 here, and you put in your name and that. And this is going to be proof of your actual entry into the United States. And again, you've gotten 3 months of time on here. So this concludes the immigration training for your fiancé visa, with all of the documents and having entered into the United States. I really hope this has been helpful to you. I want to commend you for spending the hours and hours and hours and hours with me in doing this. And again, all the sample documents are located at immigrationvisaattorneys.com, and we really want to hear your feedback on how this was for you. So please shoot us an email or any way you want, and give us a call and let us know how this worked for you. Take good care.